Hello everyone. Today's video is focusing on the use of symbolism in poetry. I quickly realized that this would need to be broken down into quite a few separate videos to do justice to this device, which is widely used in both poetry and prose. I thought I would start with one of the most obvious and common uses of symbolism, color. In fact, it is so common that we have endless cliched expressions involving color symbolism. For example, we have all heard or used the expression green with envy, and we all know to give someone extra love and compassion when they're feeling blue, or a very wide berth if we're told they're in a black mood. Colours can symbolize a whole lot of things. Strangely, the same colour can have different meanings depending on the context. Not surprisingly, green is used to symbolize new life, yet also the bitter bile of jealousy. One of the most contradictory colors involves the color red. It can symbolize love or anger or danger. To complicate things even further, color symbolism can be very different from one culture to another. In China, red represents happiness. My friend Yin Yi bought me a red wallet because it meant I would be happy and prosperous and successful and enjoy a long and happy life. Well, I'm certainly having a happy life, but I doubt if I would fit into many Australians' definition of prosperous. I remember one of my Australian friends in Italy telling me the story of the time she met her future mother-in-law in Florence. She saw a bunch of white chrysanthemums for sale and asked her fiancé to stop so that she could buy them for his mother. Later, she discovered that white chrysanthemums are associated with death in Italy, not a mother's love as it is here. So it didn't exactly create a great first impression on her future mother-in-law. I could go on, but you get the idea. Perhaps the takeaway might be that when we translate our poems into another language, they may mean something quite different from the intended symbolism. To illustrate the variability of colour symbolism, let's look at my poem Yellow. Yellow. Yellow shouts aloud with glee, saying, "Look at me, look at me." But it also offers a word of warning. Caution, caution, danger's looming. Dressed up in its brightest array, yellow is the tone of a summer's day, the sound of a striking symphony of suns playing on the petals of chrysanthemums. Yellow is the colour of endless joys delivered at the birth of my baby boys. Yellow bounces, it can't be contained, it defies definition, it can't be explained. It's the thing that you feel when you break out and squeal. It's the colour of streamers and high-powered beamers and haute couture fashioned by the most daring dreamers. Yellow is the way you feel when a dear friend comes to town. They've loved you when you've been a jerk and a humiliating clown. It's the colour of friendship, the special connection that you feel, and relationships like that are a pretty big deal. Yellow is the ribbon round the old oak tree that lets me breathe again because you still love me. And when I feel I'm drowning in a cold, unfriendly sea, yellow wraps me in its robust arms and kindly rescues me. This poem will prove beyond any doubt the complex ways we employ colour symbolism in all aspects of our lives. Here, yellow is shown to tell its cautionary tale, but also to represent friendship and joy, and to show the boldness of designers, and it's the colour of life-saving vests and lifebuoys. The next poem I've chosen is called Because of You, and colour is the fulcrum of each verse. The importance of colour is reinforced through the anaphora or stylistic repetition of the opening phrase of the 5 quatrains, where only the colour changes from stanza to stanza. Let's read it before I go any further. Because of you. Sometimes I feel red because of you. No, it's not the colour of a love that's true. It's the turmoil of my aggravation at things you do and do not do. Sometimes I feel purple because of you. Not royal purple like a queen's silk shoe, more bruised by the force of your words and things you do and do not do. Sometimes I feel green because of you. No, not the colour of life breaking through. It's the prickly rosemary reminder of things you do and do not do. Sometimes I feel yellow because of you. Not adored like a little chick you want to get close to, more a jaundiced, cowardly silence at things you do and do not do. Sometimes I feel grey because of you. No, not like freshwater pearls whose value will accrue. I'm like a wounded wolf that's snarling at things you do and do not do. And though the wound will likely heal, I will always feel scarred because of you. The tone of disillusioned resignation in each stanza is reinforced through the contrast between the expected positive symbolism of the colour and the negative reality. These juxtapositions of contrasting symbolism for each colour helps to expose the irony that the ones we love are the ones who hurt us the most. The repetition of the epistrophe in each stanza reinforces that the speaker's disenchantment is so complete it encompasses not only what the other has done, but even what has been left undone that has damaged the relationship beyond repair. Each colour synesthetically builds like a minor chord to the climactic couplet, appropriately not rhyming to convey a sense of discord. The symmetry of the title and the final phrase reinforces the idea of the speaker as the victim of a damaging relationship that continues to wound. There is a great deal that could be said, but the focus here is on colour. This poem is a reminder that colours can symbolise a great many contrary things, as mentioned earlier. I've already mentioned the way green is used to symbolise jealousy. Perhaps this is a sad indictment on my character, but I have several poems about this pernicious character flaw. The first of them, on page 26 of my collection, Infinite Connections, uses the colour green in the title, Green-Eyed Monsters. It begins, green-eyed she sits, making winged monsters of her jealousy, which, cannibal-like, turn on her, lashing her with their acidic tongues. Then they gobble her up in great ugly gulps, drowning her in their bile as she churns in the fermenting remains of her insatiable envy. The colour green sets the whole scene for this poem about jealousy and its sidekick envy. Something more sinister is revealed at the end of the poem. I hope you read the whole poem and contemplate the often overlooked repercussions of jealousy. Again, in the poem Lament of the Lonely Parent, on page 31 of my collection, colour is used to convey a mood. In this case, it is blue, the colour of sadness and depression. Lament of the Lonely Parent. You are coming. With a custom flourish, you breeze through the door, dropping bags and throwing your greeting into the lounge, where I eagerly swoop to catch it, like a greedy gull trapped in my blue room, waiting. Within minutes you have vanished, and my startled cry echoes in the emptiness of my blue room. I retreat shyly, watchfully, hoping for another crumb to fall, waiting. You are leaving, and I am tempted out to snatch again at the bread of your life, but without the happy tussle, it has lost its taste. I edge, beadily alert, back to my horizon of blue velvet, and perch there, bewildered, waiting. In each verse, the colour blue helps to convey the melancholy of the non-custodial parent who feels disconnected from their children. They sit on their blue velvet lounge, unable to adapt to this part-time parent role that they have been relegated to. The colour of the lounge reflects this depressing scenario and helps to create the mood and atmosphere of the poem, matching the melancholy language. Words like trapped, emptiness, retreat, shyly, bewildered. The colour symbolism and language work together to create the mood, which remains blue through the 3 stages of the visit depicted by the 3 stanzas. Colour symbolism is central to the messages of all these poems, but there are times when a poet will use a colour symbolically to make a point, or even inject humour into a poem where colour is not the dominant feature. For example, in my poem Suburban Rite of Passage, I use it to humorous effect in describing the terrifying experience of teaching one's offspring to drive. The poem begins, after 10 minutes of friendly persuasion, all cute grins and pleading eyes, he wears down my resistance. I am dragged reluctantly to the wagon, struck by the fact that it too is yellow. The implication is that the parent is rightly aware that the yellow station wagon is a suitable colour match for the cowardice that is overwhelming them in that moment. In another poem, I use the colour red to help characterise the speaker of the poem if I had a little red soft top. The speaker wants to stand out, to be noticed and admired. But the striking colour also helps to emphasise the pathos of the speaker discovering, on reflection, that having a little red soft top is not likely to be the key to their happiness after all. So you can see that colour symbolism can be at the heart of a poem or simply a small part of building the message the poet wishes to convey. It's a useful form of symbolism, but not the only one by any means. In other videos, I will explore the symbolism of objects, settings, and actions, as well as the symbolic meaning of allusions to events, people, and ideas. In the meantime, I hope you have a renewed appreciation for the way poets use colour symbolism. If you are a new poet, I hope you're inspired to think about ways you might incorporate colour symbolism more intentionally into your poetry. If you are a teacher or lover of poetry, I hope you have found this useful in discerning the way colour is used symbolically in the poetry you are reading. If you'd like to find out more, I have further commentaries on symbolism on my website, benedictuspublishing.com.au, and there are other videos on my YouTube channel if you'd like to check them out. The YouTube channel is called Julie Wright, Australian Poet. Please feel free to take advantage of these resources. Until next time, I hope your skies are brilliant blue and all your thoughts are golden. Ciao for now.